Welcome to this deep dive. Look, if you're a business owner, you're probably thinking about growth, about efficiency, and AI. Well, it's everywhere, isn't it?
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
But the big question we keep hearing is, okay, AI sounds great, but what's it really going to cost me? And will it actually pay off? That ROI piece is critical.
Exactly. It can feel a bit like guesswork. That's why today we're digging into something really interesting. It's an interactive calculator from a company called Rocket Lasagna.
Yeah, this tool is specifically designed to tackle that exact problem. It aims to help you, the business owner, get a clearer picture of the costs and the potential returns of bringing AI into your operations.
Think of this as kind of like a shortcut. We know you don't have time for endless research. You need those aha moments without the information overload.
Precisely. So our mission here is pretty straightforward. Unpack this calculator, see what makes it tick, and figure out how it could help you make smarter decisions about AI.
All right, let's jump in. First things first. What's the main goal of this calculator? What does it actually do?
Well, at its core, it's an estimation tool. It's built to give you a realistic projection, both the costs and the potential ROI for different kinds of AI software solutions you might be considering.
So things like chatbots for customer service
Yeah.
or maybe predictive analytics.
Exactly. Those, plus things like document automation, getting rid of tedious paperwork recommendation engines, fraud detection, common business applications.
And it doesn't just spit out one number, right? I understand it breaks things down.
That's a key point. It gives you several output categories. You get a total cost breakdown, specific ROI metrics, and even visualizations to make the data easier to grasp. That detail is really important for making good decisions.
Okay, that makes sense. You need to see the components. So how does it start? Where does the user, the business owner, begin?
It starts with understanding your specific situation. The calculator needs some context about your business first.
Right, the business context section. What kind of information does it ask for there?
First up is industry. Are you in e-commerce, healthcare, fintech, something else? This matters because AI applications, and frankly, what counts as good ROI, can vary a lot between industries.
Yeah, a retailer using AI for recommendations has different goals than, say, a bank using it for fraud detection.
Totally different benchmarks. Then, company size. Are you small? Maybe under 50 employees? Medium-sized. A large enterprise. Scale impacts everything, the cost, the potential return.
Okay, industry, size, what else?
Then, a really crucial one, key pain points. This is where you list the specific problems you're trying to solve. Maybe it's slow customer support, too much manual data entry, low sales conversions.
So you connect the AI directly to a business problem you already have.
Exactly. It frames the AI not just as technology, but as a solution to a specific challenge. Once it has that context, it moves to the AI solution selection.
This is where you pick the type of AI you're interested in.
Yep, there's a drop-down menu. You've got chatbot, think GPT-4, dialogue flow for customer interactions, support predictive analytics, maybe for sales forecasting, helping you allocate resources better.
Right.
Document automation, using NLP, natural language processing, to parse documents, cut down manual work.
That sounds useful.
Definitely. Also, recommendation engine, aiming to boost sales, keep customers engaged, and fraud detection for mitigating financial risks.
Okay, so you've told it about your business, your problems, and the kind of AI you're considering. Now, the money part, the cost parameters.
Yeah, this is where you start defining the investment side. First big choice, development approach. Are you looking at a SaaS solution, software as a service, or building something custom?
And those have very different cost structures, I imagine.
Oh, absolutely. SaaS usually means lower upfront costs but ongoing subscription fees. Custom means a bigger initial investment but potentially more tailored results, and maybe lower long-term fees, depending.
Okay. What else goes into the cost?
Third-party tools. Many AI solutions rely on external services. Maybe the OpenAI API or AWS Comprehend, Google Cloud NLP, you list those here.
And those often have usage-based costs, right? Pay per use.
Exactly. That's a key variable. Then labor costs. If you need developers, you input their estimated hourly rate, say developer hourly rate of $50, and the hours needed, like developer hours needed, maybe 100 hours.
Got it.
And finally, related to those third-party tools, you specify the expected AP usage. That includes calls per month, maybe 10,000, and the cost per call, perhaps $0.01.
Okay, that covers the potential expenses. Now, the exciting part for any business owner, the return, the ROI parameters.
Right. This is all about quantifying the potential benefits. It starts with your current manual cost per task. What does it cost you now to do the thing you want to automate?
Like if handling one support ticket costs $5 in staff time and resources.
Exactly. You need that baseline. Then you contrast it with the estimated automation cost per task. So if that same support query handled by a chatbot costs, say, 0.0010 cents in API fees.
The potential saving per task is immediately obvious.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But the scale matters. So the next input is monthly volume. How many of these tasks happened each month? Using our example, maybe it's 500 support tickets.
Okay, so cost per task times volume gives you the saving potential.
Yep. And finally, there's conversion uplift. This is for AI applications that might increase revenue. You estimate the potential percentage increase. Maybe you expect a 0.15 or 15% lift in conversions thanks to a recommendation engine.
All right, so you feed all this data in.
Yeah.
What happens then? How does the calculator actually calculate? Let's talk calculation engine, but maybe keep it high level.
Definitely don't need to be a coder here. Basically, it takes all your inputs and runs them through predefined formulas. A key concept it uses is total cost of ownership, or TCO.
That's not just the upfront cost, right?
Well, exactly. It includes initial development or setup, plus ongoing costs, API usage, cloud hosting, subscriptions, maintenance, everything needed to keep it running.
Okay, TCO covers the cost side. What about the ROI calculations?
It calculates cost savings by comparing that manual cost per task to the automation cost multiplied by your monthly volume. Pretty straightforward.
Makes sense.
Then it estimates revenue uplift. This uses your conversion uplift percentage and implicitly considers things like your average order value and customer numbers to project the potential increase in revenue.
Even if you didn't directly input average order value.
Right. The logic assumes that kind of factor is needed to turn a percentage uplift into a dollar figure. Then, crucially, it calculates the payback period.
How long until you break even?
Exactly. How many months until the savings and revenue gains cover that initial TCO? And finally, it gives you the net ROI as a percentage, the overall return relative to your total investment over a certain period.
Wow, okay. That's a lot of useful output. How does it present all this information, the output module?
Yeah, and it aims to be really clear and easy to understand. You'll often see a cost breakdown as a pie chart. Shows you development costs, API costs, maybe cloud costs, labor. Visually splits up where the money's going.
Nice. Visuals help.
Definitely. Then the ROI metrics usually appear in tables. You'll see monthly savings, monthly revenue gains, and the cumulative ROI building up over time.
So you can track the projected progress.
And the visualizations are often really insightful. A common one is a line graph plotting total costs against total benefits over time. You can literally see the lines cross at the payback point.
Ah, that's powerful.
And it often includes sensitivity analysis sliders. This is cool. You can tweak assumptions like, what if my API calls are 20% higher, and instantly see how it impacts the ROI and payback period.
That allows you to test different scenarios. Very useful for planning.
Invaluable, really.
Right.
It helps you understand the robustness of the projection. Now, for all this to work reliably, there are some technical things happening under the hood.
The key technical underpinnings. What do we need to know there?
Well, one thing is predefined benchmarks. The calculator doesn't just rely on your inputs. It often has built-in industry averages or typical performance data. For example, it might know that, on average, chatbots reduce support costs by about 30%. Or it might have standard pricing data, like OpenAI GPT-4 costs roughly $0.03 per 1,000 tokens. This adds realism.
So it's not working in a vacuum.
Right. It might even incorporate data from pre-trained AI models. And it uses validation rules to make sure your inputs are sensible, like setting a minimum monthly volume or capping ridiculously high hourly rates,
Keeps the outputs grounded. Okay, let's make this concrete. Can we walk through a quick example?
Sure, let's take that illustrative example from the outline. Imagine you select chatbot and choose a CIAS approach.
Okay, so probably lower upfront cost in this case.
Right. Let's say you estimate app usage at 10,000 calls per month with a cost per call of 0.001 cents.
So that's $100 a month in API fees. Let's assume that's the main ongoing cost for this simple SaaS example.
Okay, now for the ROI side. Let's use the numbers we mentioned earlier. Manual cost per task is $5, automation cost per task is $0.10, and monthly volume is 500 tasks.
So the saving per task is $4.90 times 500 tasks. That's $2,450 in savings per month.
Exactly. Okay. So the calculator does that math. And given the monthly operating cost is only $100, and we assumed minimal upfront costs for SaaS, the key output might be something very direct, like
your chatbot saves $2,450 per month with a 1-month payback period.
Wow.
Yeah. That kind of clear, actionable insight is exactly what a busy business owner needs. It cuts through the noise.
Now, I saw something about explicative pseudocode in the notes. Do we need to understand coding?
Not at all. Don't worry. The pseudocode is just a simplified way to show the logic the calculator follows. It's like a recipe.
Okay, so what does the recipe show?
It basically outlines the steps. Calculate TCO, including annualizing ongoing costs, then calculate ROI, looking at annual savings and the overall percentage return. It just reassures you there's a structured process behind the results.
Got it. It's also important to be aware of any underlying assumptions the calculator makes, right?
Absolutely, no model is perfect. One common assumption is linear scaling of API costs. It might assume the price per call stays the same, but in reality, you might get volume discounts. So your actual costs could be lower if you use it a lot.
Potentially, yes. Another assumption often made is no data migration costs. The calculator might just look at the software, but moving your existing data into the new system can sometimes be a significant hidden cost and effort.
Good point. Something else to consider in the real world. So bringing it all together, what's the core value proposition here for a business owner? Why use a tool like this?
Well, it takes AI from this abstract, hyped-up concept and translates it into dollars and cents or pounds and pence, depending where you are. It provides, as Rocket Lasagna calls it, a ready-to-implement blueprint to see if AI makes financial sense for you.
It moves beyond hype to actual projections.
Exactly. And the potential for these tools is huge. Imagine future versions that could maybe analyze your needs, suggest the right AI, run the numbers, visualize it, and even suggest tweaks like switching models to save costs.
That sounds incredibly powerful for strategic planning.
It really does. So wrapping up our deep dive today, this look at Rocket Lasagna's calculator shows there are tools emerging to help business owners like you make data-driven decisions about AI.
Yeah, it's about getting past the buzzwords and focusing on the financial realities. Does this investment actually work for my business?
Precisely. For busy owners, it offers that quick understanding, helps spot the potential ROI, and leads to more informed, confident decisions. Less guesswork, more strategy.
It empowers you without needing a data science degree.
That's the goal. So maybe a final thought for you, the listener, to mull over. Thinking about your own business right now, what's one specific area, one process or pain point where the kind of cost savings or revenue uplifts we've discussed could make the most significant impact?
Yeah, pinpointing that high impact area in your own operations, that seems like a really practical starting point for exploring AI's potential. It brings it home.